We are tracking Hurricane Irma as the Category 3 storm makes its way up Florida's southwest coast. This is a WUFT special report. I'm Evyn Moon.
And I'm Morgan Reiner. With winds well over 100 miles per hour, millions are expected to lose power throughout the state, and many already felt the storm's power this morning. Irma first made landfall in the Florida Keys as a Category 4 storm, leaving serious flooding. The Keys in southwest Florida are in the most danger of storm surges of around 10 to 15 feet. Nearly 6.3 million people were ordered to evacuate ahead of the storm, but not everyone heeded the calls.
In Miami, many streets are also submerged, and you can see how powerful the winds are there. A report from Florida Power and Light shows more than 1.4 million people across 27 counties in Florida are without power as of 11 a.m. And we've been experiencing showers here in Gainesville all day, but we're expecting that rain to pick up. UF forecaster Grayson Jarvis joins us now to tell us what we can expect to see from Irma in the upcoming hours.
Grayson, can you please tell us when we're going to see the effects of Hurricane Irma here in Alachua County?
Well, Morgan, you've actually been seeing it all day today. These rainstorms that have been moving through the region throughout this morning and into this afternoon have all been kind of the first preliminary bands that we've seen from Irma.
So I know Irma was a Category 4 when it hit Florida. Now it's a 3. Do you expect that to lower or stay the same when it comes more towards us?
Well, yes. So Irma did make landfall around Big Pine Key, earlier this morning at a Category 4 storm. However, it has kind of weakened a little bit as it approached. I do believe that at this point it has made landfall around Naples, and as a Category 3, a powerful Category 3 at that. And while, of course, the storms typically do weaken when they move over land, as this storm is kind of moving up the coast, really, it could stay the same strength for a good period of time, especially as it approaches Tampa and St. Petersburg. Go ahead and look at the graphics for you. So I actually do not have control over these graphics because our Weather Center resources are currently tied up with our Florida Storms app, and we're currently live on NPR's Facebook page right now. But so these are the graphics I'm going to be working with, and I do not have control of moving them. But you can see how throughout the last few hours we have seen, of course, Gainesville has been getting a good amount of rain. These are, again, the first preliminary bands of Irma. And this has been going through the last few hours, and the rain bands are going to continue to increase in intensity as the eye and the storm, the brunt of it, continues to make its way into the region. Now, the most recent National Hurricane Center advisory has come out, and the track has remained relatively the same going over the last few hours. And again, you can see here that it is suspected to be our Category 1 storm by the time it approaches Cedar Key in our region. Now, just because it is a Category 1 storm does not mean that, oh, I can kind of get, my preparations were really not needed. They absolutely are. And again, we don't know if this storm is going to strengthen anymore, because as it is moving over water, it still can. So as, of course, again, the entire Florida Peninsula is still under a hurricane watch. And the other big thing that we're tracking is storm surge, especially for the Cedar Key area in our region. We're expecting up to 4 to 6 feet of storm surge as a result of Irma. So again, hopefully you have taken precautions to avoid the worst of that as you've made your precautions for this storm, ladies.
Thank you, Grayson. And right now in Gainesville, thousands of people are starting to feel the effects of Hurricane Irma, as over 400 power outages have been reported. WUFT spoke with Gainesville City Commission Adrian Hayes Santos, who offered this tip as the hurricane passes through.
I think one of the most important things after the storm is be careful of down power lines. Make sure if you see a down power line, don't go and touch that area. Make sure to call it in.
And Governor Rick Scott says he has asked President Trump for a major disasters declaration. This would speed up federal help after Hurricane Irma has passed. In a noon briefing today, Scott warned people about the dangers even after the strong winds are gone.
The storm surge will rush in and could kill you. We have thousands of National Guard members and Fish and Wildlife officers on standby to help with search and rescue as soon as it is safe. But they cannot help you until the storm has passed. You need to stay in a safe place.
The governor also released a statement about 2 officers killed in a car accident. One was a deputy who had finished a shift at a hurricane shelter, and with her was a sergeant who worked for the Department of Corrections. FHP is investigating that incident in Hardee County.
Shelters in the area are already filling up as people prepare for Irma to approach the west coast of Florida. The University of Florida is offering multiple on-campus buildings as shelter for Gainesville residents. The Steinbrenner Band Hall already filled up early this morning. UF is urging those who still need shelter to go to the Southwest Recreation Center. The governor's office said more than 72,000 people have moved into shelters across the state.
Curfews and evacuation orders are going into effect across the state. WUFT's Grace King went to Levy County to see how evacuation efforts are going.
All of Levy County is now under a mandatory evacuation order, but some of these residents told me they still don't want to leave.
Never needed help before, is not going to start taking it now.
WESLEY Blankenship has lived in Otter Creek for years.
That it is probably going to be bad, but we've been through a few before, so I'm pretty sure we'll do just fine this time.
Like many others, he does not plan on evacuating.
We don't live in mobile homes and we don't live in modular housing. I live in an apartment building, which is pretty secure.
But law enforcement says they may not be able to keep her safe.
When wind speeds reach 40 miles an hour, emergency services will also suspend. If you stay and you have an emergency after the winds reach 40 miles an hour, we cannot come to you.
The latest forecast means Levy County could be without emergency operations for hours.
We could see tropical storm force winds Sunday into Monday. There is still that hurricane warning in effect, so winds 50-60 miles an hour are not out of the question.
Chiefland Fire Rescue went through Otter Creek on Saturday, urging everyone to leave immediately or seek shelter. Levy County will have 4 shelters open this weekend: Bronson Elementary School, Bronson Middle High School, Williston Middle High School, and Williston Elementary School. Still, some Levy County residents say they can't leave, and all they have left is preparation.
We've gotten food, we've gotten water, we've filled up our bathtub.
And hope.
I just pray for Florida, especially, north central Florida. We're used to hurricanes, but I don't think we're used to them on this scale.
Grace King, WUFT News.
Thank you, Grace, for that report. Another effect of impending Hurricane Irma. Almost every restaurant in Gainesville has locked its doors and boarded up its windows. But one restaurant is still open for business. WUFT's Alexa Lorenzo reports.
All the Waffle Houses in Gainesville are open, but they're only offering a limited menu. The one right behind me is on Newberry Road, and the parking lot is slammed.
Yeah, as you come from UF, you're driving this way, this is the only lights on that has a restaurant that's open.
And legend has it that you can tell how severe a storm will be whether or not your Waffle House is open. Sounds crazy, right? Yeah, I know, but that's the Waffle House Index for you. It's an informal metric used by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, to determine the effect of a storm and the likely scale of assistance required for disaster recovery.
Waffle houses are because they're up and down the interstates, and they're in a lot of places. They're not everywhere, but in a lot of places, they tend to be those sentinels of, if they're up and running, we may have a lot of damages, but probably not where the search and rescue teams need to stop.
Now, the index has 3 levels based on the extent of operations. Green, meaning full menu, the restaurant has power, and damage is limited. Now, yellow is where we're at right now with a limited menu, which means no power or only power from a generator. Or in the case, again, that we're at right now, is that food supplies are low. Now, red is that the restaurant is closed. We hope we never get to that point, but we will keep you updated. In Northwest Gainesville, Alexa Lorenzo, WUFT News.
Thanks to Alexa for that report. Remember, you can find continuing coverage of Hurricane Irma on WUFT FM or on our website and social media accounts.
And to get live radar and interactive data, download our Florida Storms app. Thank you for joining us, and please stay safe.